That wind hits your face, it absolutely takes your breath away. Wind gusts at times today feels like -15.
I went camping this weekend. It was negative 30-degree wind chill, -6 real temp, highs in the single digits. I really just wanted to test my gear, test myself. There's a lot of people that camp in these conditions. I've never been one of them. But at the end of the video, I'm going to share what worked for me, what did not work for me, and the experience overall. Let's go.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much.
First things first, got on a couple extra layers here, but where I'm looking, I don't have a good wind break. This wind is shooting across this pond. I'm catching a lot of breeze here, you can see by that tree. If I can get down in this little hollow, might be better. Yeah, I think I'm gonna come back, get my pack, come over here and set up in this little draw. The wind, north wind is shooting right up through this draw. Probably be my best bet as far as cutting a breeze. Okay, the shelter's made. Tent down out of the wind. I tried to keep the fly down close to the base to let less airflow through. This is designed to allow airflow through. So I tried to do that. This is what I'm hoping works because my sleeping bag is only rated for survival at 20 degrees. Obviously it's gonna be negative 20 degrees tonight, so it's gonna be chilly with just that one goose down bag. So cheap way to fix this issue, hopefully, was this. I actually came in here, I've got a little fleece blanket on the ground. On top of a little fleece blanket, I've got a Climate air mattress. On top of that, I've got a 30-degree mummy bag. On top of that, I got my 20-degree mummy bag, which is tucked into the other one. And on top of that, I've got another 20-degree bag opened up as a comforter. I think that's gonna hold plenty of body heat. I don't foresee any issues. My only concern is what's coming off the ground. Underneath the tent, I actually have some just housing wrap Tyvek, just to make sure that if I'm melting snow, because I'm not super insulated, I don't get any moisture, and it ought to help insulate a little bit as well. So inside that tent looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna be all right, and when I get ready to go to bed, I'm probably gonna throw some body warmers down into the feet, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna start a fire here pretty close to the tent, and get my water out next to it, because I'm concerned it's gonna freeze here pretty quickly. So, next step, fire.
rising from the grave. String band playing more of that honky-tonk's pretty young thing going dancing in the rain.
All right, guys, this is going good. It's about 3 p.m. I got a good base for a fire here. I've picked up just this kind of crap that's all frozen and just dead brush. We got a real good base here. But anyway, now I'm gonna go get some bigger stuff. Get this baby really rolling. Hey guys, getting dark. Dinner was awesome. I've moved closer to the fire. It is getting colder. Got my coffee going here, and I just wanted to touch base one more time because it's getting ready to be the time when we figure out if we got what it takes for sub-zero camping. I actually just made a post on Facebook, which was pretty funny because what I asked was, what are the odds that I make it until the morning? And all of the comments had nothing to do with that. All they said was, why? And I just wanted to touch base on that real quick. Why? I don't know. I just like to test myself, I suppose. And I like being outside doing interesting things, and not many people experience this. And I don't blame them. But that's why. I just want to see if I can do it. So far, so good. Okay, it's about 6:30 now. I've gone through a decent amount of the wood I had here, so I'm gonna go get some more wood. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and have my second mountain house because the first one was all I've eaten today. And I'm pretty sure that if I have some more carbs and fat in my body, I'll stay a little warmer, but still, so far so good. It's cold out, but I'm not cold, so I just got to make sure I keep this fire going and get some food. Batteries on the camera are dying fast, so I hope it makes it. I do have a spare, but it's junk, so I'm going to continue to film as long as I can, but that's the update as of now. It's only another 12 hours until daylight again. Wow, I'm not doing anything except for sitting here staring at a fire. I guess I could take this to explain why this video is being made and why it's on this channel, what this whole deal is about. So if you're new and you haven't seen any of my videos, this used to be a YouTube channel that was just me playing around and making videos related to my hunting and, you know, just little goofy things that I was doing. Granted, I'm still doing that, but I rebranded it to Essential Outdoorsman. I made a site, which is a blog. It's gonna be, the purpose will be to share information that is exciting about the outdoors, interesting about the outdoors, not just your typical whitetail tips and tricks. That stuff's included because I do a lot of that, but I want it to be a little bit more, and I really want to use it as a way to recruit people into the outdoor lifestyle. And if they're not at all outdoors people, maybe gain their interest and have them do some things that they wouldn't generally do. If they're just outdoors people and they've never hunted before, you know, they're just campers or hikers, maybe I can bridge that gap as well and young kids that don't have anybody to take them hunting or fishing or anything like that, if they stumble across any of this stuff on YouTube, it might ignite some excitement in them to get out and try it. So yes, I enjoy just being out here and doing these things. I enjoy videoing and taking pictures and sharing that, writing and sharing that. But the purpose of it and the reason that I'm investing time and money and effort into it is because, you know, if I can get somebody else to see and enjoy the things that I get to see and enjoy, then I'll feel like it's not just time wasted. Gives things a little bit of a purpose, gives me a little perspective on what's going on. So that's what Essential Outdoorsman is. That's what the website will be about. That's what this YouTube channel will be about. I want it to be fun, and basically I just want to intrigue young minds. So if you see this and you think you know a kid that might be interested in it, he doesn't get a chance to go out a lot, he begs family members to take him camping once a year, or her camping once a year, fishing, hunting, anything like that, share it with them. Let them know this is a good time. And if they're local to here, if you are local, give me a shout, shoot me a message, because I'm willing to take people out with me and do things like this. That's all I gotta say about that. Well, my battery is dying. My spare battery is dead. It's actually about 10 o'clock. I ended up eating a little more, and I'm in bed now. Pretty chilly, but warm so far inside of this bag, so I'm gonna see what kind of sleep I can get, and hopefully I'll have enough battery to check in the morning. Wish me luck. Good morning. Can't see a thing right now. Camera is fogged up just from my breath and heat in this tent. But what I can tell you is there's a thin film of ice throughout this whole tent. But I'm gonna get up and get some clothes on. That's gonna be the cold part, is getting on out of this bag. But honestly, really good. It's probably, well, it's -6 right now, -20 something wind chill, and I'm very impressed. So hopefully this camera will clear up and this battery will stay alive and I can show you a little more. Here's what's left of my fire. Here's my tent situation. See ice crystals all through it. Like I said, it's just about 6 o'clock, but I had to urinate, so I'm up and I'm gonna go ahead and just get this fire going. That'll warm me up into daylight. Thing jumped right back to life, and it has seemed to have warmed my camera up enough. I'll show you one more time. Here was my nest. Very warm. Here's the ice inside the tent, just from my breath, of course, body heat. But I mean, I'm impressed with that. I'm gonna go over this list with you guys. Got some light coming through the trees. I'm gonna go ahead and get some coffee made. Wait till daylight. We're gonna pack up and get out of here. We made it. I feel like it's pretty cold outside, but to be honest with you, with some decent gear, this isn't a big deal. I think the biggest thing I've learned is regulate your temperature. I didn't get too hot ever. I never got too cold, so that was an awesome night. I'm gonna go ahead and finish having some breakfast here. If I think of anything else I need to touch base on, I will. Otherwise, I'll let it get daylight, show you around, and pack it up. As promised, I just wanted to touch base on my experience and my takeaways. Basically, I learned that no matter how cold it is, if you regulate your heat, you'll be okay. And what I mean by that is wear layers. If you're too hot, that's a problem. And obviously if you're too cold, that's a problem. But I was near the fire and I would take clothes off. If I was getting wood, I would take clothes off. I was very nervous about sweating and then getting cold afterwards. And so I was shedding layers and putting layers back on and maintained a pretty steady body temp the whole time. Never got cold at all. As far as the experience itself, what was that like? It was awesome. I mean, I was comfortable. I love the silence that winter brings along. There was no sound except for the wind just moving snow. And so that was a pretty cool experience. There's no bugs. That was a big one. I hate bugs. I hate sweating to death in a tent and didn't have to worry about those things at all. As far as gear goes, I'm gonna break this down much further and put it on the journal, essentialoutdoorsman.com. Once that's written, which will be within the week, I will have it linked in this video. So if you're watching this video more than a week after it's posted, go to essentialoutdoorsman.com. There's gonna be a really good write-up there that breaks down all my gear. But quickly for this video, must-have gear would be a decent tent, and you've got to get something to get you off the ground. What I used was Tyvek that you wrap a house in. That's super cheap at your Home Depot or your Lowe's. Get a piece of that underneath the tent, and that makes sure no moisture is coming up, and it does insulate a little bit. From there, if you've got a cot, that's great. If you've got a small inflatable backpacking air mattress, that worked for me. I just put a fleece blanket underneath of it, had the air mattress, and then my bags on top of that. So I wasn't making direct contact with the ground and wasn't soaking up all that cold, frozen dirt. That leads me to bags. My sleeping bag was not rated for the temperatures I was in, but as you saw in the video there, I just used 3 of them. And so if you don't have the money to go buy a 0-degree bag, but you've got some old Walmart sleeping bags, I think you'll be just fine. Just bring several of them in the tent with you. Make sure, again, you're off the ground, and you shouldn't have an issue at all staying warm. The other big thing that I did that I think made a tremendous difference is I bought the 14-hour body warmers, just a big hand warmer, and threw those in my sleeping bag a couple hours before I went to bed. And I was honestly too warm when I first got in there, so I pulled those out just to make sure I didn't get too hot and start sweating. So if you got a decent bag, you're off the ground, you get hand warmers in your bag, hand warmers in your pockets in case your hands are getting a little chilly. I think that's all you need. Pair that with good clothes and layers of clothes. I wouldn't wear cotton on my skin, wear polyester so you're not sweating and wetting down a cotton t-shirt. So polyester base layers, and then from there you want something, insulating on top of that. And then on the outside, you want a windproof, waterproof shell. When it's that cold, especially if there's snow, you don't want any dampness, and the wind is the big killer. So make sure it's a windproof and waterproof shell. Same with your shoes. Insulated rubber boots work well. No snow gets in them. They're insulated. And then the other odds and ends for gear, things that I use a lot while just camping in general, and they worked again here, was a stove with multi-fuel canisters. They did act up a little bit this morning. They didn't want to flow properly, but once I got a flame on them, they broke free and they worked okay. So extreme cold for a long duration, I can't promise those will work, but this situation, it was -20 wind chills. They did work, but they were spitting and sputtering a little bit on initial light. And then of course you want to bring your food and your water. I use dehydrated Mountain House. And then as far as water goes, an insulated container would be great. I didn't have one, so I just had to get a fire going early and leave my water close by. Then the final thing that I find to be pretty much essential when I'm camping is a headlamp. I use it basically all night when I'm camping. So get that thing in your pack, get some spare batteries for it. Usually they just take AAAs, throw a few spares. Camera batteries and things like that were destroyed with the cold yesterday, but my AAAs and my headlamp were good to go. So you should get decent battery life. Just make sure you get a decent headlamp. They're not expensive, and you'll be good. So with that, that's the basics. I mean, it's not that difficult. You just got to commit to it, have a good fire, have good clothes, and get off the ground. I think you can do it. Again, I will write all this stuff up in detail and have it on essentialoutdoorsman.com. I appreciate you guys watching.